Done the reading. Done?
Yeah, bro. Done.
Great. Okay, so let's look at the video first.
Blue Ocean Strategy is a business management book published in early 2005. The book is based upon a Harvard Business Review article authored by W. Chan Kim and Renee Malbornier. According to the book's website, Blue Ocean Strategy is a way to make the competition irrelevant by creating a leap in value for both the company and its customers. The authors divide the market universe into red oceans and blue oceans. Red oceans represent the known, the companies, markets, and industries that exist today. Red oceans represent their defined and accepted limitations and the competitive nature they foster as they battle for control of perceived limited resources. This waging of corporate war turns the waters bloody, hence the term red ocean. Blue oceans represent the unknown, the companies, markets, and industries not in existence. Within a blue ocean, unlimited opportunities to create markets and new demand await discovery. Because of the vast potential within these blue oceans, competition is irrelevant, as the, quote, rules of the game have yet to be defined. Blue ocean strategy contrasts starkly with red ocean strategy in that it seeks to escape from accepted market boundaries and create new markets in order to leave the competition behind. Value innovation is the core concept of the book's message. By ignoring the competition and focusing strategic thinking on the buyer, a leap in value results for both the company and its customers. Adopting this approach increases a company's chance of survival and growth in increasingly crowded and shrinking market spaces. The book has been described by many as required reading for business executives, as it proposes 6 clearly defined principles they can use to create their own blue ocean strategies.
All right, so that was the blue ocean strategy, but we also are discussing the third term called Purple Ocean Strategy. So in the video, we have seen Red Ocean is an existing market, correct? Non-market. There are too many competitors fighting for a pie in the same market. That's why it's bloody red. Just a constant price war, constant discounts, offers, promotions, a lot of things are happening. And everyone is fighting. That's why it is murky. The water is murky, not clear. Whereas if you look at the blue ocean concept, so the target market is the unknown market, totally focusing on non-users or new users, people who have not subscribed to your product or service become your customer. So classical example in Malaysia would be Air Asia. When Air Asia was launched in Malaysia, they were not competing with Malaysian Airlines at all. Rather, Tony said his market or his potential customers are, passengers who prefer a taxi to Singapore, or people who are taking a bus to Singapore. So these are the non-users, people who are price conscious, people who probably cannot afford an air travel at that time. So he looked at non-users, converted them into loyal customers. The blue ocean strategy. But of course, the question is, can every company use this strategy? Absolutely not. It calls for innovation, creativity, and of course, monetary power. That's very, very important. So we have a lot of classical examples of blue ocean strategies in front of us. One such is our case study that we are going to deal with. And the third term in the case study talked about a purple ocean strategy. So a purple ocean strategy is nothing but a hybrid strategy where certain good elements of red ocean, certain good elements of blue ocean are adopted, because not every company can be purely blue ocean because of financial constraints or technology, lack of technology, or market capitalization, or inability to enter into a foreign or new market. There could be many reasons. So some companies would mix, okay, maybe an existing product, probably a new market. So that's how they look at, or they come out with combo packages, new services, new products to the existing, portfolio of products and services. So this is called the purple ocean strategy. So there are three questions. There are three questions that probably you need to look at, right, in this particular case study. So the first question is, how did Cirque du Soleil, did I pronounce, anybody who speaks French here can correct me, transformation from a traditional circus to a unique entertainment experience that illustrate a blue ocean strategy? So how did they transform the traditional circus? My childhood, I remember in my childhood, there were so many circus companies, but many of them have vanished because of cinemas or movie theaters or multiplexes. People had other forms of entertainment. And of course, there were also factors like animal rights activists, government restrictions on movement of animals, captivity breeding, so many issues were there. Whereas this particular company was able to move away from their traditional circus by combining certain additional experiences. So anybody want to comment on that? Aslam, would you like to try?
I think, Doctor, like what you mentioned, I think the innovation bit is very critical, right? It's because you're looking at trying to innovate or think of new ideas and not like
Yeah.
fight for the same pie or do the same thing and expect different results. So I think that's one of the things that they did well.
Fantastic, fantastic. Very good answer. How about Dave? Would you like to add to this?
I'm sorry, I'm still driving. I'll be a passenger till,
All right.
till I
No
get
worry, no
home.
worry, no worry. Focus on your driving, not on the case study. Okay, maybe I go to Komati.
Um, Prof, over here, I think that they managed to eliminate the industry norms, which is the traditional circus, which they relied on the animal acts.
Yep.
And instead of that, they focused on theoretical storytelling to create a new version of the definition for entertainment.
Excellent, excellent. Yep. Uh, Bala, anything more you want to
Just to add to what Comedy said was, it was
Yeah.
actually thinking out of the box, right? This was really thinking out of the box because, as you said, when we were all young, the star attraction were the animals.
Yep.
Besides going to the zoo, so this was really a new market. By they were blending circus arts with theater, music, and dance. Very family focused type of thing. So to me, I would say, yeah, by blending, the theatrical part, the musical shows, and dance and whatever. So it
Yep.
includes what Govadi said just now, the storytelling stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 Thank you. Who did I miss? Aslam?
You already asked me, Doctor.
Asked you. Sorry. All right. So I think I have covered everyone. So very, very well answered. Komati talked about removing animal acts, focusing on artistic storytelling, and then others talked about blending theoretical performance with circus art. So this was something new. Either it was pure circus or pure arts. Never was there a blending. So that's what they have done. So that was their differentiation strategy, in fact. Okay. And they were also able to target, traditionally circus means family, children, parents. But here they were able to attract adults and corporate clients, which I feel is a very good strategy because that's a non-user market, non-user market, especially corporate clients. And they were willing to pay probably a premium for this particular art form. And it was not just an art form, it was also an immersive experience, right? So this is something very, very interesting. Let's look at the question two. How did
If Prof, if I may add one more point
Yeah,
to
please.
this, I think this was really quite a bold move, meaning they reduced the reliance on low cost ticket sales and managed to move the needle up to price it at a, I would say, like a premium, because you are blending all these things together. So from Air Asia, they were moving to like mass, you know what I mean?
Yep,
Pricing.
correct. Mhm. Interesting. Thank you. Very good strategy. Let's go to question number 2. How does Cirque du Soleil's strategy from 2010 onwards reflect a purple ocean approach? Maybe you can provide some specific examples from case study in order to show how they, came out with this purple ocean strategy. So what, just to add, the Purple Ocean strategy that they had was nothing but a combination of continuous innovation and elements of, differentiation. And of course, competitiveness in terms of product offering, immersive experience, combining arts with circus, all these were there. So maybe somebody wants to start. Komanthi, would you like to start this time?
I'll try, Prof. Okay, here I think they managed to eliminate competition among those who are in the same industry, but yeah, in a way. And also, they managed to do some collaboration. For instance, Disney, if I'm not mistaken, partnership with Disney.
Yeah.
Yeah, to maintain the unique identity of their products or services being offered.
Yep. They not only collaborate with Disney, I think even Michael Jackson, Beatles, all these kind of live shows were brought in.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And this creates a new experience to the users, the unknown users, is it? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Very good answer. Khairul?
I think they did the audience segmentation to to enhance the unique show concepts and increase the production value. And I think they in the Purple Ocean strategy they redefine back the meaning of circus
Yes.
by utilize the technology using visual effects and so on.
Yep. I think you brought in two very important points here. But before I jump into it, anybody else, maybe Mr. Bala, would you like to come in?
No, I think that's very innovative to be able to bring the Las Vegas people, like like you said, Michael Jackson and so on. You could have a Tom Jones scene there, whatever. You never would have thought about mixing a singer. I know people who like you said Michael Jackson, you said Beatles. I mean, I, I myself finding it. How do you mix and match a circus, a family show, and a live guy who performs in Las Vegas to come there? Fantastic. I mean, that was uh, so you really set yourself apart from the competition, because the competition would have never sort of envisaged that, hey, this thing could morph into something different, like a family entertainment. Hey, you can come and see Michael Jackson and you can see maybe some elements of the circus. um, so I think it really sort of opens up a new market, so I think it's a very good move. And I think you can really price it at a premium, because you're bringing the Beatles or you're bringing Michael Jackson. My God, imagine the kind of markup you could do, that would set you a world apart from a traditional circus. So, you're really at that a differentiated market. It's not it's not a Tom and Jerry show. You know what I mean? It's a real differentiated market. So if you look at it from a strategy, it's a real differentiated product that you're offering to a market. It takes somebody really brave to have guts to be able to explore this ocean strategy.
Very good. Thank you. Aslam?
Yes, I agree with everybody else, Doctor. I think the main thing is that the Red Ocean strategy is more of the core activity. But I think when they move away from the core activity and focus on developing new product that generate a different level of experience for the users, I think that gives them the differentiation advantage. Yeah, so there's a core activity, but there is something additional which is added on and innovated, like what Mr. Bala said. So I think that gives a very much different experience to the users, which sort of like also in a way defeats the competition,
Yeah,
unlike in the Red
I think you really
Ocean.
blow out the competition.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good. Thank you. I think one of the points that I want to emphasize that Khairul mentioned is on leveraging technology, So digital streaming, we never heard of digital streaming or circus before. So this and also the interactive experience. So two things combined was the power of technology that is being used by them. Secondly, they were able to enhance this customer value through this unique experience, whatever you just mentioned, all of you, the unique experience, bringing in celebrity, pop stars, and, then clubbing, immersive experiences, and so on and on. So which none of the competitors could imitate, in fact. So you remember the maxi mini strategies and so on that we talked about. And we also talked about the Rio, is it imitable? Can competitors imitate it? Is it valuable? Is it rare? You remember that we discussed yesterday.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all those factors come into the picture here. So it was valuable, rare, inimitable, and supported by organization, you see. So that's why they have that competitive advantage there using this strategy. Very good. Let's go to the third question. What strategic recommendations would you make for this company to remain relevant and innovative in the future? So maybe you can apply Blue Purple Ocean frameworks if you would like.
Yeah, I think he can apply across multicultural performance in order to expand his market to could be other country or other relevant performance show. Yeah, I think a lot of country actually they have a very attractive story that related to their localized that may bring in and then expand their market to to another.
Yeah, especially like folklore. This is very, very typical to certain countries. How they do it. The stories. And if you go to Russia, it will be very different. If you go to Brazil, the traditional art forms would be very different, and the costumes they wear are fantastic. If you've seen, and if you go to some of the African countries, you should see the kind of aggressive dance they do. Right? Some of them dance on the pole. I hope you have seen all those kinds of things.
Dance on
So
where?
yeah.
Dance on where?
On the pole, they can dance on two long sticks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We see it in nightclubs, pole dancing.
That is a different type of pole dance. That's why I was very careful not to say pole dance. I said dancing on the pole. Okay. All right. Yeah.
If I may add to what you said, in a lot of the countries that I work, I see, the Indian Hindi movies are very popular. Whether I
Yep.
work in Africa, whether I work in Mongolia or whatever. So, maybe one of the things that they can do is actually bring Bollywood singers or Bollywood dancers inside this particular circus we're talking about. And then yesterday we talked about Netflix.
Yep.
You could actually stream some of these things, or you could have a series that says Sega de Soleil series on Netflix. As you said, how you can monetize and digitize this type of streaming. So I would say, even Africa these days now, there's a couple that sings Bollywood songs. Have you seen them on TikTok and something like that? They can sing this. So maybe you bring who's the guy? A.R. Rahman or somebody there to sing and then have a circus.
Possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a student from Africa, Nigeria, and he spoke to me in fluent Hindi.
Fantastic.
So I asked him, how did you learn Hindi? He said, by watching Bollywood movies.
Yeah, actually, I was
Yeah.
just amazed how popular these Hollywood movies are throughout the world.
Mhm.
From
So,
Afghanistan to I don't know where. Yeah, so that
yeah.
one you can use that instead of you can use African dancing. What pole? Not dancing on the pole. Sorry, and Bollywood dancing as well.
Okay. Okay. How about others? Prashant is there. Hi, Prashant.
Yes, sir. Hi, sir. Hi.
Hi,
I
hi. How are you? Are you with us or just came in?
just came in. Just came in. Actually, I
Oh,
just
so,
landed to KL as well.
so, so it's okay. You
I'm
just
still at the
settled
airport.
down.
No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
still
Selamat
in the airport,
selamat
sir.
pulang, Bapak.
Selamat pulang. Masih dong. Hargain ya. Okay.
Okay, then I can go to either Dave. Dave, I think, is still driving.
I'm okay. I'm listening. But I think,
So
I mean, if you don't mind me sharing, I think there's a lot of emphasis being given to the performance aspect. Maybe we can just shift a little bit of the focus to how the business model itself is operating, right? So, I believe what they're doing now is it's very vertical, right? So the whole troop belongs to one company, and they are the one, and this one company is traveling to different countries and different regions to perform. So I'm thinking about maybe making it a bit more horizontal, where they could have a franchising approach, you know, those kind of things. I'm thinking along those lines. What do you think, Prof?
okay, that's open. We're open to the idea. It's a good idea, franchising. But then when you franchise, do you get those many animals, those many artists? Like one of the famous circus is the Russian dance, Russian circus. I don't know whether you have seen Russian circus. And last year, there was some circus in Malaysia. Which circus? I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
think the
wanted to go.
London circus.
London.
London circus.
London. Yes. I wanted to go and see it, but then somehow I couldn't make it. It was there in Bukit Jalil also.
Yeah, yeah. I went.
Yeah.
I went for it.
Oh, you went.
Yeah, yeah.
So how are they different from this company or this?
I've
How was
never
it?
experienced Du Soleil, only through TV. So
Mm-hmm.
scale is a bit smaller, definitely, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Komanthi, would you like to come in?
Prof, okay, I would like just to add on with what Mr. Dave has mentioned. Probably maybe
Yeah.
immerse into digital integration, virtual reality, and to give the what do you call that, audience an experience to to watch it virtually. You know, for those who don't have access, they can view like live performance, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good idea. Virtual VR, virtual reality, and somebody talked about live streaming. So unlimited number of audience can watch it, you know. So, and immersive experience, maybe a kind of 3D like experience, you know, if you, of course, if you're having that VR, definitely it's going to be an immersive experience. Okay. They can also continue to collaborate with popular brands, musicians, artists, and so on, just like they have been doing. But somebody said, bring it from different ethnicity and different country. I think Mr. Bala said that. So that's a very interesting concept. You know, not restricting to one country or one culture, but borrowing concepts and ideas, art forms from different demographic settings or ethnic settings. Very good idea. Then,
I would call that a global cultural fusion.
wow, yeah, global cultural fusion, interesting. Another way would be to blend traditional live performances with digital innovations, you know, that can be another way, which we talked about earlier, like the creating immersive experience, virtual reality, and so on, you know. So now that we have a lot of digital platforms and techniques and tools available, all these are possible in today's context. I have seen last year, I have seen a live drama, you know, it was available free for 2 or 3 hours. They opened up freely. It's not a drama, it was a stage art, okay, which involved a lot of things like they brought in, you know, lorries or trucks onto the stage. They brought in lions and tigers onto the stage. You know, it was a very interesting show. I can't recollect the name. Somebody sent me the link and I didn't miss it and I watched it, you know. It's
Where was
very
it?
interesting. Pardon?
Where was it held?
It was last year. I received a link. One of my friends sent me the link. I can't even remember the name of that particular art form, you know, but I enjoyed it. That's what I remember. Yes. So, but normally it is a paid streaming, but that 2 or 3 hours, I think it was immediately after COVID. So they opened up for a few hours and I could enjoy it. So that's another way of, you know, the blue ocean strategy that we're looking at. So I hope you understand now what is a red ocean, blue ocean, and purple ocean, and how to use them or how to analyze these strategies and what's the impact of these strategies on organizations. Now we can go to generic strategies. Okay, before that, let me see whether I missed out anything for these. I think that. Now we go on to the next concept, which is called the generic strategies. Maybe I will start with a video first. From there, we can go to the case study and then to the concept. Okay.
This mini lecture provides a brief introduction to the 4 generic strategies that companies can utilize in their efforts to realize competitive advantages. Before I introduce the 4 generic strategies, however, I want to make sure we are clear on what a competitive advantage is and the key levers a company can pull to achieve an advantage. For the purposes of this lecture, a competitive advantage is when a company achieves higher profits than the average competitor in the product market. Consider 2 companies that have similar revenues and similar costs, and therefore similar profits. Well, the focal firm can achieve a competitive advantage in one of 2 ways. First, this company can somehow drop costs while keeping revenues constant. In this case, the focal firm now achieves a competitive advantage due to lower costs. Second, the focal firm can increase revenues while holding costs constant. In this case, the focal firm now achieves a competitive advantage due to higher revenues. Of course, a company could realize an even greater advantage if it could somehow do both, but that is very difficult to do in practice. Now, this brief overview may seem obvious, but it is important to lay the groundwork for the following discussion. Michael Porter suggested that generic strategies can be defined by 2 key dimensions: the scope of the strategy and the source of the competitive advantage. For scope, the company could target a broad market or a narrow focused market. For the source of competitive advantage, the company could either be the low-cost leader or a differentiator. The result is these 4 quadrants that represent the 4 generic strategies: overall cost leadership, differentiation, cost focus, and differentiation focus. Cost leadership is really about being the low-cost provider for a broad customer base. Examples of companies that do this include Dell Computer, Amazon.com, and Walmart. These companies all offer products that are pretty similar to other products in the marketplace, but they have lower costs. These low costs allow them to consistently capture higher profits than their competitors. Differentiation is really about doing something different that makes your broad market customers willing to pay more for your products and services. Examples of companies that do this include Harley-Davidson and Apple. These companies offer products that customers really want, and so customers are willing to pay high prices for them. These higher prices allow these companies to consistently capture higher profits than their competitors. Cost focus is basically a cost leadership strategy in a narrow or focused market. Aldi is a great example of a focused cost leader. Aldi targets a very narrow and extremely price-sensitive customer, but only carries the products they can offer at a huge discount. They strategically locate close to traditional supermarkets so that these penny-pinching extreme customers can still go somewhere close by to get the other things they need that Aldi doesn't carry. Differentiation focus is basically a differentiation strategy in a narrow or focused market. Ducati motorcycles is a great example. They target a narrow slice of performance-focused motorcycle enthusiasts. Ferrari is another example. They target performance-focused drivers who have millions to play with. So generally, you can select any one of these 4 generic strategies in your efforts to achieve a competitive advantage. It is very difficult, however, to try to do more than one. Companies that try to do more than one frequently get stuck in the middle. You see, when you cut costs aggressively, then you also tend to cut product features and services. Thus, it is very hard to clearly differentiate your product when you are aggressively pursuing a low-cost strategy. At the same time, you often have to spend money to make your product somehow better than the other products out there. Doing so is clearly inconsistent with a cost leadership strategy. The main activities you engage in to become a cost leader are simply inconsistent in most cases with the main activities you engage in to be a differentiator. Getting stuck in the middle is a pretty unhappy place to be. Your products aren't different enough for customers to be willing to pay more, but they also aren't cheap enough for customers to choose you for your bargain prices. You are left without any clear unique value for the customers you're trying to woo. So while some companies have in fact found ways to do both, it is usually wise to choose one and stick with it. Understanding when some companies are able to do both is a topic for another mini lecture.
All right, so we can look at the case study. What's a case study? You can download the case from the Moodle, those who have come late. It's available if you go to if you go to session 6, you can find both the PowerPoint and the case study there. Hi. Is that a question to me?
think so.
Where are we? Have we done?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So if we have done, let's look at the case study. So we are looking at a few strategies here, generic strategies. Okay. It could be cost leadership, focused strategy, or it could be a combination, a hybrid strategy. Let's look at. So question number one, what are the advantages and disadvantages of global tech continuing with a differentiation strategy in the face of increasing competition? So technically, we need to look at the advantages and disadvantages. If each of you could contribute at least to anyone, either advantage or disadvantage, it would be nice. You can refer to
I'd
your
like to try it.
PowerPoint. Yes, yes, please.
Prof, one part of it, I think when they focus on product differentiation, the ability for the company to sustain loyalty, the brand loyalty among the customers because of their features and also the quality, yeah, which makes the customer to value it.
Yep. So you're talking about brand loyalty, quality. So obviously, if you have these two, that will lead to premium pricing, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody else?
I think by keeping its premium pricing, it can maintain its reputation for innovation, quality, and also appeal to its high-end customer base.
Yep. Yeah. I want to highlight that point. Innovation. Now, if a company is continuously innovating, that can become an entry barrier for competitors.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, that's a good point. Yes. Will it attract good talents?
I'm sure it would, because you want to work for a company that's innovative,
Yeah.
a market leader.
Yep.
Good branding company.
Yes, correct. So, Komati talked about loyalty, quality, and, when you have loyalty and quality, that increases corporate reputation. And when your reputation is very high, it's very easy to attract talent. Good people will flock to you. And that can enhance your research and development, further boosting innovation in the process. Good. Any disadvantages you guys look at? Not.
Product cannot be popular as the common product. And also limited market, and also only group of people who able to who willing to spend and enjoy for their product and services.
So yeah, that's very good point, because you see, if someone is very cost sensitive, then they wouldn't want to have anything to do with premium pricing, right? So that appeal to cost sensitive customer will not be there. Yes, very true. Anything else? Any other disadvantage do you see?
I think another one, I think disadvantage is they have to continue innovate and compete with the high-end technology company, which means because their product focus in niche market, if they're not continue to innovate their product, they may lose their market share in very short time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's like a bane and boon, at the same time. So if they want to continue to innovate, that's going to increase their R&D cost. So if the R&D cost is going up, definitely that's going to have an impact on profitability also. So you see, I mean, when we look at advantages and disadvantages, we need to look at it from multiple angles, Anything else?
If these guys want to be a global player, then I think by keeping on to your premium pricing, you will exclude the developing countries. I'll give an example. When we were in Africa, I was working for a bank, and we were trying to introduce phone banking, and a lot of those softwares were, heavily encrypted and was for the high-end phones. Then we had an Indian company that came to this part of Africa and introduced very low-cost phones. That enabled us then to revisit the strategy of serving the underserved market and the underbanked market by allowing them to do phone banking using on a lower priced phone, which had some basic security features. So if you have this expensive phones or the expensive gadgets, you price yourself from some market, some continent, some lower, less countries with less GDP and so on. So, so you. I mean, you're an exclusive player, lah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have brought up an excellent point here. This is what we call it as bottom of the pyramid concept, So if you read bottom of the pyramid, it says most of the companies target the top of the pyramid, which consists of that 20% of the customer. Whereas if you look at the bottom, nearly 40 to 50% of the customers fall into the bottom of the pyramid. So if you can target that bottom of the pyramid base, that can create enough and more revenue for you to create profitability. That's a concept, So I think the one that you talked about, the phone pay, right? It was the phone pay classical case study in Africa. It's a very interesting example, how they managed to reduce their cost at the same time, use technology to reach each and every customer.
By making more affordable stuff rather than premium
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely. Absolutely. Imitation, risk of imitation is also there. There are a lot of copycats in the market. They can clone your products at any point of time. So if there are competitors cloning your products, then it would reduce that uniqueness of your product, So that's another disadvantage, potential disadvantage that we can look at, Okay, good. Now we can go to question number 2. What are the risks associated with adopting with a cost leadership strategy for this global tech? Is there any risk? Do you see any risk in cost leadership strategy?
like affecting the premium brand stuff?
Yeah. Could you explain?
Mm.
Okay, sir. So like it's me, Prashant here. I was just back to the conversation. So I've
Thank you.
seen number number two, just traveling also. So anyways, the risks are like if we were talking on the pyramid, so like we're targeting on the top, which is the high notch brand. So in such a way, if we were to create a pyramid and we have a bottom one which is cheaper, it is going to like if you own a company, it's going to like reduce the premiumship. Okay, like for example, like Hugo Boss or whatever, if they were to like sell certain things in a low quality, I mean lower price, it will affect the premium in the branding, sir. So like mostly I like what I want to say is that certain people they are looking for the luxury for top notch brands and etc. They are buying that items just to basically one is the quality and so on. Another thing is a part of Asia, and in additional is also to luxuries. We are talking on regards of phone. So you see in
Mm.
our phone market, such as for iPhone and also Samsung, even the like iPhone, the phone cost for what a Pro Max could be like 8 to 9,000 ringgit Malaysia. Whereas Samsung, they have two. They have the top notch and they have the lower grade phones like one's the S series, S25 Ultra, whatever. That is also expensive, like 9,000. And also they have cheaper phones such as 500 ringgit phone, the A series or whatever. So it could say that's why like many iPhone people are like feeling, oh, this iPhone is a luxury. Samsung are you is like not as luxury as iPhone. Could be. So this is affecting their premium brand.
Yeah. The
I,
moment, yeah.
I
The
think it's
moment.
positioning. Positioning. They don't
Okay.
have a solid positioning, which means
Could you
they
could you
taken.
talk a bit more? Could you
Yeah.
elaborate a bit more on that?
So if they focus on cost leadership, which means their company positioning may be confusing. So if
Mm-hmm.
they're targeting the niche market, they must have a premium brand that all the rich people that agree this brand is belong to premium market. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if they're also manufacturing some cheap product, which means it's hard to convince other people this thing is considered under a premium group.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that can dilute the brand image, you say?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a potential, for
Mm.
dilution in brand image. And that brand image, which is associated with quality and innovation. So absolutely right. Yeah. Any other risk?
I think it's a double-edged sword,
Double-edged sword.
doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if you have a benefit of maybe being more viable for larger audience, it also means to say that you have sort of like accepted that you have to join the price wars and you have to reduce quality and your dependence to your current suppliers. So what that means is it will sort of like stagnate the amount of innovation that your company will be looking to do in order to differentiate the product, but instead
Yeah.
just compensate on quality and price.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Yep. So what do you see the possibility of a price war
Mm.
among the competitors, and if there is a price war, definitely that would affect the profitability as well.
Mm.
Correct.
Correct. Mm. But quality
Can I?
perhaps the quality will be affected. It's some sort like some China company when they cut
Yeah.
down all their expenses, they will outsource
Yeah.
most of their assembly line to other suppliers. It's just like recently Cherry, some part is broken. This all because of outsourcing, and some quality is hardly to control whenever already assembled on the part already assembled in the car. So it will at the end, he will spoil the brand name as well.
Wonderful example. Yeah, very nice example.
Good. Prof, can I ask something?
Yeah.
Just a quick question. It's slightly off topic, I guess, but how would we know? Because we're discussing the advantages and disadvantage of each approach. But what are the parameters available to determine which way to go, whether a company chooses cost leadership or product differentiation? How would they know beforehand? Because it seems like, from what I'm seeing, they have to do one thing, they find out it doesn't work, then they have to pivot and do another thing. But is there a framework that a company can use to decide on one or the other?
Yes, there are so many. You see, that's why if you remember in the first class, we're talking about, TOS, SWOT, PESTEL, 5 forces. If you remember, many of these analysis is helping the company to determine their strategic focus. So when they do these kind of analysis, like competitor analysis, environmental scanning, from there, the company is able to narrow down to their strategy based on the prevailing market conditions. Of course, it could go wrong also. There is no 100% guarantee. Even after all the scanning, the strategy would work.
Okay.
But it will clearly give a strategic direction for the company when we use these tools to do the scanning, the analysis, and list down your strengths, your weaknesses, your resources and capabilities. You do your RIO analysis. When you do all these stuff, that should help you to understand whether you want to have a cost leadership, whether you want to go for a differentiation strategy or a cost focus and so on.
Okay, all right. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. Let's go to question number 3. How might a focused strategy benefit global tech? What challenges might arise from its implementation? Focused strategy, you understand, right? It's more like a niche marketing strategy. Yeah? Khairul, would you like to try this?
Khairul, I thought I saw a message. Somebody said that they're going for
Okay,
prayers.
sorry.
Khairul, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. A focused strategy for me, for this company, that the company can improve efficiency and boost profitability. So because they can focus on specific areas or market, which they can optimize their operation and reduce wasted resources.
Okay, absolutely. Yep. So my question is, for example, when you're looking at this kind of focused strategy, we are looking at targeting niche markets. Niche market means it's smaller in size, number one. But this small market can give you enough profitability to sustain as a business entity. All right. So you, for example, if you look at Ferrari, they don't produce millions of cars or thousands of cars in a year. And they don't sell their cars to everyone. Very specific, right? And limited number of products. But that's giving them enough profitability, So this kind of approach has got its own pitfalls also. For example, if your brand is very strong, then customers are going to be very loyal to you. They won't run away. And the moment you are having that niche market, probably the competition also is very less, because not everybody can enter into a niche market.
Yes.
It needs specialization. Right. You can't enter into a niche market with generic products. It has to be exclusive, limited edition, something which is rare, not common in the market. Only then you can talk about that. And
So
of
really,
course,
then the benefit, Prof, is the way you're saying it is that these people, the niche market people, are less sensitive to
Cost.
price.
Yes, yes,
price.
Price.
Yeah. Price sensitive.
Yeah, they're talking about premium pricing always.
Yes.
They're willing to pay premium prices for this stuff. So
Differentiation.
these are really the top, like you said, 20% of that pyramid. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. It need not be always top 20%. Huh?
Could be less than that.
This niche market can work in premium markets or in ordinary market also, but targeting specific customers. For example, I remember there was a retail outlet model in India. Its name was small a and large LL. So expansion is a little larger. Okay, that's the outlet's name. What do they sell? They sell all oversized products. Your clothings, your shoes, everything oversized. Because there are quite a number of people who can't find shoes that fit them, or a jeans or a pant that fits them. So this particular retail outlet was specialized in that. Are you getting me? When I say niche market, I'm not talking about exclusive or rare diamonds alone here, or only Ferrari here. You have to define the niche market. It could be in any sector, the niche market. Clear? Hello?
Yeah, clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know
Yes.
people who
Yes.
find it Sorry, who's that? I was saying, I know people who find it difficult to get the shoe sizes, the tall guys, and
Yep.
and I remember in one place I met the guys, and the guy said they had a website. The company that sells these outsized XXL shoes has so these guys will regularly go and check the brands to see whether available for their sizes. Yeah.
Yep.
But focus strategy can be focused on cost only, is it? Differentiation or cost focus, is it?
Yeah, it can be a cost differentiation,
Which means they can make something cheaper until other competitor unable to beat them.
That could be, or they can go into a pure niche market.
Yes.
Either way.
Because China, I think always they're using cost focus, which means they beat all the competitor by offer the cost that other manufacturer is unable to beat them.
That is mostly cost leadership, Cost leadership.
Okay.
That means you bring the cost to rock bottom. There's nobody who can beat you on that particular costing, and lower the cost, lower the price, right? That's how it works.
But if let's say in China supply chain, actually most of the manufacturer, they are not doing the product, but they focus on the particular part that fit into the supply chain, which means they only, let's say they focus on the aluminium casing. So they'll do the casing until the price is low enough that other manufacturer is hard to enter the market, because they're doing all kind of aluminium, but they don't manufacturing product, but part of the product.
Parts and components, okay?
Yes, part and components, yeah.
Very, very interesting observation on that. Yes. Okay. Anybody would like to add to this? The focus strategy. Who did I miss?
I think focus strategy can apply to the common product also. There are some company manufacturing in Malaysia also. So like some screw, they have specific size and common size, what we call that. If you want specific size, there are some certain supplier that provide this kind of service. The cost is higher, but they can do whatever size that you want. So whatever product you want to fit in, so they can make it customized for you.
Oh, so highly customized, it's tailor-made kind of.
Tailor-made, yes.
Interesting. Thank you. I think we take up these two questions, then we have a break. Is that okay?
Okay.
All right, great. Okay, could global tech adopt hybrid strategy? So hybrid is a combination of two different strategies. Some call it as stuck in the middle. Okay. He would say, Michael Porter would say stuck in the middle, you're neither here nor there. But some strategists call it as a hybrid combination of two different strategies, like cost leadership and differentiation. So the question is whether global tech can adopt a hybrid strategy.
I think just now, I think it was Fu. Was it Fu?
Yeah.
Who mentioned about Samsung? Who was that?
Samsung, I think, Cairo, Prasa, is it?
Prasan.
Yes.
I think that's a very good example of a hybrid strategy. You said the S series was for the premium stuff, and the budget was the A series. Am I right, Prasad?
Yes, that's true. And they
Yeah,
also got a big series also, like the
they got what?
500. And another
Oh.
one like the A whatever, like A7. I don't know what they say, like Samsung. Like it is cheaper, like 1,000 ringgit or 500, 800. Another one is a top notch, which is like 9,000. The IN.
Yeah, so that's a hybrid strategy, isn't it?
Yes, all the innovation. If they are willing to be okay for the cheap one, which is not up to technology, then yeah, if they're looking for a technological basis in where it's all in the good specifications, to the latest tech, to the camera is like going 200 megapixels and can zoom 100 times. And nowadays they have like the erasers that even if you take a picture, you can erase a human, you can erase an object or whatsoever. Even sometimes the videos also, you can actually delete the background music or certain music. You can adjust the volume of the background noises. Yeah, so this is
You
all
mean the
value.
phone can do that?
Yeah, can. Yeah, this is the S24, the latest update of 7.0. Yeah, you can actually do that. So you're paying for the price of the technology that is invented in it.
So that's a good example of a hybrid strategy, I think. Yeah. I
Yes.
can't think of many others that there is. I don't know if there's the other examples, but that's a perfect example, I think.
Anybody would like to contribute? Commenting?
I think hybrid strategy, I think the cost-wise, the company must be very strong. Have a very strong finance background. Or else you need two teams of different people to develop different segment of the market. And but if either one fail, I think he'll affected the whole branding in the market.
Okay. Pamadi, what do you say about this?
Yes, Prof. Which means to say now the company has to focus on, rather than focusing on one part of their business, now they need to look into two different groups and to cater into the needs of the customers.
Yes.
Means to say additional work for them, but if that's the way for them to increase the profitability of the company, then they have to focus on product differentiation and also on cost efficiency. And that's where
Excellent.
I think, like what you mentioned earlier, they would be able to hire more, recruit more staffs in order to come up a solution to this strategy that they are planning to implement.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Good. So we take up the last question. So what would be your strategic recommendation for global tech based on this generic strategic model that we have studied?
If I may just jump in, I would gravitate. I would gravitate towards the example that I think Prasad shared on Samsung. I think if you're able to find a good balance between one that is, because it can sound very confusing if you, especially, I think what Fu mentioned is you got to have two sets of stuff. So you most probably will have two sets of supply chain management. One is the high end product, one is the cheap end product. Uh, then you might have different marketing strategies, the way you pitch your premium product, the way you pitch your entry level product. But if you can achieve it, then it is fantastic. Like I think from the example that I hear just now, thanks for sharing that Samsung example. I mean, I didn't know there were three. Prasad, you said there were three. I thought there was just the S and the A. Now you say there's another one. I mean, the way they manage it must be good, because I think Samsung is still a big player in the phone tablet market. I think they come out with foldable phones and so many stuff and so on. So I think if you can pull it, it's fantastic. You cater to the niche market. You also
So
cater to the middle
essentially,
market, and you also cater to the lower end of the market. I mean, you can sell your products to the whole spectrum of your market segment, that you segmentalize the market to say, okay, top tier, the guys will get this S series. The guys who are in the middle, I give you the A series. The guys in the bottom, for countries which are lower, if you can achieve that, it's fantastic, like, if you ask me. But I think it's a challenge. Like I think what Fu just now mentioned, different supply chains, different people doing this, and maybe the staff also get confused. Am I working for a niche company or am I working for a mass market company? You know what I mean?
so essentially you're pitching for a hybrid strategy, correct? With which says, we must have separate product lines for premium and budget conscious customers.
Yep.
Many companies do this. In fact, like Toyota, for example, they have a brand called Lexus.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Different brand.
Lexus in no way is identified with Toyota. If you look at their campaigns and branding, it is set apart as a separate entity.
Yeah, that's a good example, Prof. Yeah, you're right.
And if you look at many of the premium brands, you will find they also have less premium brands, but they all are separate entities, but under the same umbrella of the family brand, the main brand, but have different identities.
But which are the successful ones? Have they been? I haven't. Okay, Toyota Lexus is a very good example. Samsung is a good example. But who else? Who else?
I think Vivo and Oppo also is a good example. They are both under the same mother company, but they manufacture three different products, but dominate the market share almost the same.
Mm.
The
You get
total
a,
of share almost can beat Samsung already.
that means you get a bigger share of the pie, lah, huh? The pie.
Yes.
So they are targeting the price sensitive customers. So they don't want to leave the market at any cost, you know. So every segment of the market is targeted and attracted to their product. You know. So that's why they have created individual identities, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, if a firm
Can
can
they?
achieve that, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Oh, sure. No, go ahead. I'm just going by what is given in the case study.
Okay.
Would I would probably gravitate towards focus strategy because
Mm-hmm.
focus strategy seems like from the information given from the case study offers them the best competitive advantage, shot at the competitive advantage. Because if you look at the competitive threat, Nexatech is doing some aggressive pricing strategy for the budget consumers. Bytework is, gaining traction with the sustainability and so on and so forth. Whereas the other one is Stu, right? Yeah. So if they go for the focus strategy, it seems like they're doing something different, right? And they can probably do bulk sales or something because they're going for corporate devices, smart home systems. Mean you don't buy one thing for your home, you buy multiple things, right? So each customer is going to end up buying more products per sale. So I don't know. This seems like, what do you think, Prof? Seems like
Anybody
an
would
approach.
anybody has a different opinion on this?
Let me just jump in because
Right.
if you now say focus strategy, I seek clarification. Maybe I'm blurred with. Are you focused on innovation or are you focused on affordability? Which is the focus we're talking about? Because you got two aspects that we're talking about. One is innovation to keep the thing, as dynamic as possible. The other one is you want to really go to affordability. So focused in which one? Is it innovation, the niche, or are you talking focused on the lower end affordability? Which are you talking about? Sorry, it is my
Yeah,
ignorance. I'm just
true. No, because the way I saw it was the focus was somewhere else other than these two. At least that's
oh
what I feel like. That's what's written because they
oh
are
okay
going for
okay.
some other. It's like a totally different way. But please, I would like to get an opinion on what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay. Maybe we're interpreting
But
that
I think,
the question a bit differently, lah. I think, yeah.
like for example, yeah, like yeah, not go so far. Or regards like we use Samsung again for example. So if you have noticed, now this is Samsung fridge, yeah, but this is the fridge. They have an AI model. Bro. That one comes with the AI where you connect to your phone, you can know how's the temperature, whatsoever, blah blah blah. And now you talk about only about fridge. Even the washing machines also they have in the AI where they have an assistant where through your phone you can check what is the status, blah blah blah, or you can control. Um, that is the high end that they have. Then also they have also the lower end, in which the innovation is lesser. And saying so, this is also part of Samsung's hybrid strategy in where they have a high end, they focus on the high end, and also they have the normal ones in which they create a little bit of innovation. And in so, they are focused in both all categories, high end, mid range, low end. So in general, I believe so that using the hybrid strategy, we can focus in all area of what we target.
Oh,
So we
okay.
seek for the premium customers. We seek for the one that afford to pay as not as expensive as a premium items.
So you're looking
So
at
we
the
target.
mid-range products with essential features, right? those kind of
Yes,
things.
which is a
Yeah.
good value for money.
Mm.
Like a premium and a budget-friendly products. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's how they can survive in a very competitive world as the current era right now.
But
It's like
provided the
it's
provided
like
the
they're
resources
giving
is
yeah, it's like you're giving them differentiation with a low budget, with a low price, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
if I read question 4, could global tech adopt a hybrid strategy combining cost leadership and differentiation?
Mm.
To me, in my simple mind, cost leadership means low cost lah. Okay,
Yes.
no frills, no thrills.
Mm. Correct.
Differentiation means it's the thrills and the frills inside there. So I
Mm.
think the question says is, could it adopt a strategy of both? That means cost
Mm.
leadership means low cost,
Mm.
differentiation means niche market.
Yes.
What will be the potential outcome? To me, that's how I read the question. That means
But
when you say
but
focus, are they focus? That means
mm.
they focus also on cost leadership.
Mm.
They also focus on differentiation.
But I think Samsung could be an example, but Toshiba could be another example which they make failure in hybrid strategy. Like all the electrical appliances which manufactured by the Toshiba actually already take over by the China company, while the differentiation product that they have patent and specialized in NAND flash, that still is their strong holding power, which means not everyone can be dominate their product and copy this kind of technology. While other product all other product under electrical appliances all already killed by China product already, because they are unable to focus in too many segments, and also especially the support from the government, because like Samsung actually is supported by the government. That's why they have a very strong fund back end because of the support from the government, and also their country. The people in Korea also they are support for Samsung product. That's why they have a very strong backbone to support for both cost leadership and also differentiation.
Mm.
Okay, good. I think very good discussion. I really liked it this time, but we will have to end it here because we have less time. So we'll take a very short break for 15 minutes. We'll come back by 9:15. And when you come back by 9:15, we will be talking about probably, what are Hofstede's dimensions. Huh? Though not in the syllabus, but I feel it's important for you to understand, and it would be part of your examination too. Okay. And
Oh,
soft
sorry.
matrix.
What was that?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Hofstede dimensions.
Upstate. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We'll be looking at it when we come back. So
Okay.
9:15 will be here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.